Welcome back to Outdated Reviews. And this is our third episode, and for the first time, I plan to look at a starter set. So far, in the first episode, I looked at D&D 5e's Player's Handbook. The second episode was the Delta Green Agent's Handbook. Today, we're going to look at a box set that honestly was one of the reasons I got back into role-playing games recently, is Alien, the role-playing game by Free League Publishing. And this is its starter set. Now, I remember thinking when I saw this in the store, how the heck are you going to do an Alien game? And more importantly, I'd never seen a starter box that thick before. Well, I didn't realize that, they have actually gotten bigger depending on the company that makes them here for a while. And I remember what the starter sets were like back in the day. The old, TSR ones and the old, Marvel superheroes and stuff like that. I was not prepared for what I found in this box. So, what do I do when I review a starter set, since this is my first one? So I said what my basic criteria for a passing grade was for the main hardcover book. For a starter set, that criteria is a little different, because their goal is to give you something that you can play right out of the box, okay? So, expectation number one for a starter set, you gotta give me dice. Unless you use nothing but standard D6s, you probably should give me dice. Okay. Number two, I need an adventure. If it's a starter set, I need to be able to start an adventure, right? 3, pre-made characters. I think that's a given, because usually starter sets are designed for you to get going reasonably in a hurry, right? So I need that. Let's see, so dice. Oh, a succinct, abridged version of the rules. I need to know how the game works, right? I should, from a DM perspective, or GM perspective, or referee, whatever you want to call them, have something in here that shows me how to run the game, in addition to having something for people to know how to play. It should be a complete package, at least to a certain degree, all right? That's kind of what I'm looking for. So let's go ahead and get started with Alien, the role-playing game, the starter set. So first off, let's take a look at the back. The job was routine, the money fair. Then the damn company diverted you to answer a distress call from a ship that disappeared almost 80 years ago. A derelict carrying something bizarre, twisted, and alien. What the ship's frozen crew brought back with them was bad enough. What they themselves were turning into was a bloody nightmare. Add to that an annoying sensor ghost shadowing you in the void, and your stress level is shot. It's all a bit much. You don't get paid enough to deal with monsters. But hold your breath, count to 3, and play your cards right with this one. And you just might walk away very rich. Oh, and who am I kidding? You're all going to die. So, that's the way to hook somebody to see, what it is. And it's basically just introducing the adventure that's inside. So, hey, we just got one criteria. So, before I open up this box, let's go ahead and have a word from our sponsors. Hopefully, they're a sponsor that helps you open boxes. But here we go. Go ahead, sponsor. Sponsor. Let's try that again. So hopefully they have a way of showing us how to open this box. Go ahead, sponsor. Sponsor. Okay, we're back. I hope you enjoyed whatever the hell that was. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open the box right now. And first thing I'm noticing, you hear that? It's a tight fit. That's good. But this box, good Lord, this is some serious quality cardboard. Now, they didn't really utilize this inside of the space, but generally they never do. But this cardboard, I remember those old starter boxes that they'd collapse under their own weight. This is incredibly high quality. Same with the bottom. Now, I had said you needed to give me dice. I think they overdid it here. We've got 10 dice where the 6 has this symbol on it. All right. Then we have 10 more dice. They're in yellow. Right? The 6 has the same symbol, but the 1 has a face hugger. So let's go ahead and talk about the Year Zero engine, because that is what Alien uses. The Year Zero engine is a D6 dice pool. So let's say I am trying to do something, and my stat is a 2, my skill is a 4. What that means is I can roll 2 dice because of my stat that feeds into the skill. I can roll 4 dice because of the level of the skill. That's 6 dice. So, how do I know if I succeed? If I roll a 6. That's it. I just need to have a 6 in these dice. So when I roll these 6 dice, what do I get? I failed. Okay. Now, I didn't fumble or anything. I just flat failed. So 6 dice, I only need one of them to land on a 6, and I couldn't do that. So what happens now? Let's say I was trying to reprogram a door so I could lock it from my side so something coming after me could not come after me, right? So I'm trying to do it and I fail. So I can do what's called pushing the roll. Push the roll. Push. Okay. We're going to push the roll. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it again. But I have to immediately take 1 stress. So I put 1 stress on my character sheet, and I get to add a die, a stress die. The problem with the stress die is if I roll a 1 on a stress die, I'm going to panic, and then I have to roll on a table and add my stress to that roll, and it could like literally instantly kill you, right? So now I've got 7 dice to roll, so I actually have a better chance of succeeding, but I might end up bad. And a success. Yay. There it is. Whoop, there it is. Whoop. So that's how you do it. Okay. Now that 1 stress, that's going to be there for the rest of the game, unless I do something to get rid of it. So it gives me an advantage, but it also puts a little bit of fear in you. And so I do like that they have these dice, and most importantly, these are cut dice. These are not like screen printed where they'll wear off over time. These are actually cut into the metal of the plastic of the die. So that is usually a really good thing, right? So I'm putting the dice up. While I do that, what do we have here? We have some cards, all right? So this looks like equipment, which gives you the stats for the equipment on one side and a picture of it on the other, right? I'm going to try. These have gotten mixed up, so what I'm going to do, because I have actually used this, because again, this is not a review copy. This is my copy. It's literally my game, right? Because, you know, I don't have relationships with any of these people to, like, get a review copy. That'd be awesome, but, you know, I don't, and so here we are. Okay, so what do we have on these cards? I'm almost done flipping around. Here we go. So first off, I have equipment cards, which are basically weapons of various types, right? And there they are. There's just a good pile of them. I also have cards for specific characters. These look like the characters that are NPCs. Yeah, these are NPCs from the adventure right here. You got those with their stats, so you can literally look at them right there. You also have initiative cards. In a lot of Year Zero games, you do not roll for initiative. You draw for it. So, example, I'm playing and I'm using a character and we're in combat. I draw a card, 3. My initiative is 3. You start with 1 and work your way up, right? So, whichever one is the lowest goes first. But some things, like, say, a xenomorph, they have an ability, quickness, I believe it's called. They pick 2 initiative cards, and they act twice in a round. And where does this xenomorph... I can't seem to use cards all of a sudden. 9 and 6. So he's kind of midway and then way in the back, right? So Maybe we'll get lucky and kill him before then, but don't hold your breath. But so that's another bit of the cards. And the last are personal agendas. I don't want to go into details on these, but each character in the adventure has their own personal agenda, and the adventure has 3 acts, and the agenda evolves and changes in each act. The other players at the table don't know what your character's agendas are. So I really like that. That is probably the coolest thing, because this game, it has 2 different modes of play, campaign play and cinematic play. Cinematic play is more like you're playing an alien movie, meaning don't expect to survive, right? I mean, maybe 1 or 2 characters will, but that's about it. This is ideal for that type of play, for cinematic play. So now let's look. We've got a rule book here. Soft cover, as you would expect. It's pretty thick. Flat, glued spine. I think we call this perfect paperback because it's a glued spine that they have actually, they've got the pages in bunches and they're glued back there. How long is this thing? 104 pages, right? And nice cardstock cover. The paper is thick and glossy. The problem with the black, with this light blue or green print and white print, it does switch up sometimes. The biggest issue with this on a glossy thing is fingerprints. Now, I've read through this a couple times, and I'm honestly not seeing much in the way of fingerprints. But there should be some, because I've read this quite a bit. But nonetheless, does it fit the aesthetic of Alien? Yes, it does. Very much so. And does this give you enough information to play the game? Yes, it does. It breaks down how everything works, including skills, including like classes, although this is, you've got either class-based systems or skill-based systems. This is definitely a skill-based system, but it is not heavy on numbers of skills. That's not how, it's not like, hey, you've got all these skills you can pick. That's not what it does. It's very different in that regard. There's, like only 12 skills. So it's more of, like, there's no expectation of your character necessarily getting better from adventure to adventure. Although there is an ability to, you can do that. It's not its focus. And I think, honestly, as somebody who's played this game, I feel like it is better as in one-shots, or what we would call in Alien cinematic play, than it is in campaign play. That being said, it's definitely doable, and it does give that sense of fear. Beautiful art here. Martin Grip, I think, does the art in here, and that guy is just off the hook. He does some amazing art. But so yeah, this gives me plenty of information to play the game, right? And to know what I'm doing. This very impressive book. This alone is more than I ever received in the starter set back in the day. I think the biggest book I ever got in a starter set back in the day might have been 64 pages. This is 104, and I've got another book here, right? So there's your rule book. It also gives you an adventure, Chariot of the Gods, by Andrew E.C. Gaskin. This adventure is a 48-page book, again with the black glossy paper. This adventure is played by scenes, and so if you are a DM, you definitely want to go through some of this, but if you're a player, you might want to skip ahead a little bit on this. You might not want to watch me go through the adventure. But basically, everything's broken down into 3 acts. As you get to each act, this is the part I really enjoyed, but you have to learn how to do it. Each act, okay, this is actually the map information for a ship. Each act has, Act 1, Pandora's Box, has multiple events. Some of them are mandatory, like Nobody's Home, New Orders, Ghost Ship, right? Some of them are not mandatory, like The Headless Man and Sensor Ghost Redux. Do the mandatory ones. You don't have to do the other ones if you don't want to. But there's multiple running subplots through those little side events or side quests, for lack of a better term, that actually add a good bit to it, but it can also make this module take a really long time. I may actually do a review of the adventure itself at some point in the future, but nonetheless, there's Act 2, The Long Night, and Act 3, Divided We Fall. And then there's an epilogue, right? And now we get into details on the xenomorph, the neomorph. If you know anything about the Alien franchise, you are familiar with these things. The different stages of infection, some more talents that, didn't come up in the rule book but are here because these characters have them. This is a very well done book. It is saddle stapled, which is why it stays open so well, right? Because it just has a couple of staples in there, industrial staples, to keep it together, okay? So what's next? We have a map. Holy cow. Okay. This is where it gets weird because this map is massive. So we have a map of the known galaxy. All these little dots are planets, worlds, star systems, whatever, right? This is a very glossy map, but it's very thick stock, but it doesn't leave fingerprints. I don't know how they're doing that. On the other side, whoa, we have maps of the Cronus, which is a ship. I'm trying to fiddle with it. There you go. There's a nice, decent view right there. But there's maps all over the place, right? And you literally will play on this map, right? It's a really high quality. Now we've got our pre-generated characters. Okay, let's do this the old-fashioned way and use gravity. You know what? You have counters, too. Don't want to forget those. Punch-out counters you can use to move around on the map. Then you've got pre-generated characters. So these are the characters you can pick from. Wilson, the company agent. Cham, the roughneck. Miller, the officer. Davis, the pilot. And Rye, the roughneck. So 2 roughnecks. These are the characters that you could potentially choose to use, and their actual character sheet is on the back. Now, I'm about to make basically my one and only complaint. These character sheets are the same glossy paper. Do not write on these. Whatever you do, do not write on these. These are too nice. Make photocopies of them, or hop online and get a PDF of these same things and just print it out and let players use that. I printed out blank sheets and let the people that played fill in the information from this, right? So that I could keep these in good shape. So, what do you have here? You've got the counters, right? You've got the best map I've ever seen in a starter set. You've got 5 pre-generated characters for an adventure. You have the adventure, Chariot of the Gods, more on that in the future. You have the rule book, 104 pages, Alien the role-playing game. You have a bunch of cards, including initiative cards, character cards for NPCs, weapon cards, and personal agendas to be used with the adventure. You have 10 dice, and you have 10 stress dice. Okay? And that's what comes in the box set. So, as I put the lid back on this thing, and hear it fart as I close it, what do I think of this? So, for a starter set, 1, you need to give me a condensed version of the rules that I can run with. This basically gives you all the rules. There's very little missing. So, because the Year Zero system is not super complicated or anything. It's extremely versatile, but it's still you can do slight adjustments to make it have more flavor. But we've got that. 2, you need to have an adventure. Yes, Chariot of the Gods, which is actually a spoiler for when I make that video. Pretty darn good adventure. 3, I need characters I can play. Yes, I've got that too. Right? So I've got rules, adventure, characters, dice. Yes, more than enough. I'll probably never have to get more dice. 10 of each. It's unlikely I'll need any more of those. It gives me everything I could ask for. In addition, it gives me that really nice poster. It gives me that, I could literally display it, so nice. It gives me the really nice character sheets, although I wouldn't write on them. They are really nice for display. It gives me the little tokens to move around. The box is incredibly well put together. yeah, this is an amazing product. Honestly, full disclosure, I got back into role playing recently. It was after something happened that, if you've watched my channel, there's a video back there about why I stopped. Whenever I stopped doing video game videos, and I explain, this is kind of what I went back to, because this is the kind of thing I did a lot when I was younger. Is these tabletop role playing games, and so I saw this one, and I'm like, yeah, I've got to give this a try. I'm curious as to how they pull it off, and I'm telling you, the alien universe is a heck of a lot more complicated than just the xenomorph. As Prometheus and Alien Covenant kind of demonstrated, this taps into all of those things. So what do I give this? On a scale of 0 to 10, I feel that Alien, the role-playing game starter set by Free League Publishing, learn to talk, that is a 9 out of 10. The character sheets with the glossy paper, mild complaint, I guess. Some people might not like the glossy paper, period. But it easily gets the minimum 7 for all the things, but all the added value easily makes this a 9. I've literally been debating 9.5, but we're going to go with 9. Because I know some things that would score higher, but I know most, and I gotta be honest, most starter sets ever made will score lower than this. That's how good it is. If you like sci-fi, if you like horror, if you want to try something different with a system that's easy to learn, but it's perfect, it does a really good job for what it's doing. Alien, the role-playing game, 9 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If so, please like and subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications, and I will see you next time on Outdated Reviews.